Hey guys, welcome back to another week of the Mac Outdoors podcast with Mia and Lea. This week we're going to talk to you about bow fishing, so stay tuned.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Mac Outdoors podcast, where a dynamic mother-daughter duo share their adventures, tips, and advice. I am Mia, and I'll be accompanied by the one and only daughter, Lea. It is time to get to outdoors, hunt, shoot, and spend time with family and friends. Let's get this show on the road.
Hey guys, welcome back. Last week we talked with you guys about 3D archery shooting and our Easter shoot that we have. But this week we're going to talk about bow fishing, since that is coming up real fast as the weather is getting nice.
Yeah, it's getting super warm and we're excited to get our boat out on the water. So we'll be tuning up our bows and getting ready.
Bow fishing out in Colorado is so much different than the bow fishing done out east of us. We don't have as big of fish as they do out there, and we can't shoot them at night. We can't use lights and all of that.
Yeah, and I know some of my friends live near the Mississippi River and near some of the Midwest states, and there are just thousands and thousands of carp. And for us, we have a short season, and we're lucky. What's the most carp we've got in a day? Like 15?
Yeah, that's probably the best we've done. For us, a good day is around 10. So any more than that is really exciting for us.
Yeah, it's pretty exceptional. And so we have to really train or practice a lot, because the opportunities aren't just like everywhere around us. I mean, we have one of Leah's friends that she follows, Becca Garris. She's always out there and getting so many fish, and it's really cool to watch, but we don't have the opportunities to do that as much. So we definitely do practice, and we wanted to share some boat fishing tips with you today.
There are a lot of different ways you can shoot fish and different bows. I shoot a PSC and have the jug reel. I have the reel and the jug and all of that on it. And there are also ways that you can shoot them with longbows and have hand reel it in yourself on just, what would you call that?
Yeah,
just a little.
You can do like a homemade bow, and like one of our friends, she has a recurved bow, and then her dad welded like a spool on there. And so you can still shoot, and then you have to hand pull it in and then hand rewind up the line. And it doesn't cost that much money to make, and it's pretty easy and affordable to make it if you have an old bow that you don't use anymore.
With bow fishing, if some of you listeners don't know, you don't use regular fishing line. You use a like string basically, and there are certain arrows that you buy as well. They have a different tip on them, and I think the arrow doesn't really matter on your draw length as much. So you can tie your string around this little piece that they have on the arrow that you can buy at any archery shop. I know they have them here and even bigger places like Bass Pro and Cabela's. But you tie your string, and once you have all of that done, the key point to remember is always to make sure that that little piece is in front of your rest when you shoot, or else your arrow could not fly straight and it could get hung up on your bow.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of people when they're first learning, they do forget that, because it's a tendency, I think, to like pull that little piece and string like to the back of the arrow where you would have a fletching on a normal arrow. And it's kind of in the back of your mind, you're wanting to pull it out of the way, but really you have to have it in front of your rest at the front of the arrow. And as Lea said, the tips are different. They actually have like a barb so that when you shoot the fish, when you pull the line to bring it in, the arrow doesn't just pull out of the fish. How about aiming, Lea? Isn't aiming like the challenging part? I know when I first started bow fishing, Lea actually started bow fishing before me. She went fishing with some of her friends, and they taught her, and she came home and told us about it, and we were like, we've got to do this. So she actually is the one that got Hank and I into bow fishing, so it was pretty cool. But Lea, tell us how you taught us how to aim at the fish, because I think I shot like 100 times the first time I went.
For bow fishing, it's a lot different than just shooting at an animal with your bow. The hardest part is you just want to aim right at your fish and shoot at it just like that. But with it being in water, and depending how deep the fish is, your arrow, when it hits the water, is going to fly different. So you always have to aim low in the water. So you're going to aim below the fish, and depending how deep it is how much lower you're going to aim.
Right. So you kind of have to become instinctive. You have to just learn. Like the more you shoot, the more you'll learn how your arrow is going to hit the water. And then the light refracts as well. So where you think the fish is isn't really where it is. So it's challenging, and it's so fun to try to get a fish on your arrow.
It is a lot of fun. And I went with one of my friends a long time ago, and he had just a regular old bow that he had for a long time, and he had one of the regular hand reels, and that was the most challenging thing. Is you would see a whole school of them, and you'd shoot at one, and they would barely move, and then you had to hand reel it. Whereas now I have the regular reel on there it's a lot faster, so you can get more shots off and more fish.
So you can reload a little more quickly. And that's one thing I've experienced. I've had Bass Pro sent me a couple different bows to try, and we've bought several bows as far as the reel setup. And the jug reel I have found to be the most reliable as far as reeling in and getting ready for another shot. I also have one, it looks kind of like a Zebco reel, and it's enclosed, not an open reel, and you reel it in just like a fishing rod. And those, I've had 3 different brands of those that fail. The little parts inside, they're bind up. They don't work very well. So if you guys know of any, let us know, because I'm always I really enjoy trying new things. So let us know if there's something that you use that's different than just the hand reels or the jugs. Something that I'd like to see some improvements and ways to do it more efficiently.
It is so fun to shoot the carp here, but of course looking on social media and seeing all the other fish and all the other things there are out there, I would love to shoot a gar, and I would love to shoot the ones that jump out of the water and all of that. That is definitely on my bucket list to go do, which I know some people just get to do that all the time.
Yeah, that's on my list too. And something else that I think would be a super fun challenge that I've seen on TV is shooting actual alligators with the bow. So I think that would be kind of fun. And I also think it'd be fun, as Lea said, like to shoot them at night and to do the lights and stuff. I don't know how the whole setup works, but we're going to have to put that on our list of things to do, is to go to some other areas and try how other people are doing bow fishing. If you have experience with that, let us know also. Give us some tips or places to go or something like that. We'd love to hear it. You can tell us on our social media, or you can email us, and we'll put that information in the show notes. And I also wanted to tell you, we don't often eat the carp. And really here in Colorado, carp are an invasive species. They're a nuisance, and you don't have to eat them. It's not required. But we did have a few people send us recipes. We cooked up some carp. And what did you think of that, Lea?
Well, it wasn't the best thing I've eaten, but I don't think it was the worst either.
Yeah. So the recipes that we did 2 different ones. We did a deep fried one and we did a breaded one, and they both tasted really good. They weren't bad. The fish was a little bit bony, and one of my friends in Illinois, she told me that part of what they do is they eat the white meat. There's white meat on the outer side, and then there's the inner part is a little more red. And the white meat tastes better than the reds. And I had to agree with her afterwards, in comparing. But they bowfish quite a bit in Illinois, and she had some good recipes. And so it really wasn't that bad, honestly. So you definitely can eat it if you want to. the thing with bow fishing is you can't catch and release, because once you shoot them, they've got a big hole in them. So it's not like fly fishing where you can turn them back. So that's something you need to know before you start shooting at fish. And you also should check, in Colorado, we can shoot carp and you can shoot pike, which we haven't shot any pike yet because we haven't seen them in the areas that we're fishing. But check your regulations where you are, because you can't shoot every fish that you see.
My biggest thing is don't get frustrated, because I know some days I'll be on and some days it'll take 50 to 100 shots before I get a fish on the line. So it's all just a lot of fun and there's no competition in it. I know sometimes our family does do that, but I know it's just fun being out there and getting to shoot my bow, because that's what I love to do.
Yeah, and it definitely, I noticed for fall hunting, when we bow fish all summer, my muscles are already in shape. So it really helps for that, for any elk or deer hunters. If you go bow fishing, you're actually using those muscles in the off season and it keeps you conditioned. And I know some people, in ways to get prepared for bow fishing, is they go and shoot their bows, obviously. But you can practice by, putting an empty jug in the water, and you can try to hit the jug on the surface of the water. And then after that, you're going to have to learn, like Lea said, how to judge the depth and stuff like that. So as she said, don't get frustrated and make sure you just have fun. So those are a little bit of tips on getting started bow fishing. If you have any questions about it, let us know. Our contact information is in the links in the show notes, and you can email or write or message us on social media or comment on social media. And we'd love to hear any tips you have as well. You can put those in there, and we'll have some good fun stuff to chat with you about next week. So stay tuned.
Thanks so much to everyone who tunes in every week, and if this is your first time stopping in, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends. Thanks for listening.